We love horror movies from the 70s and 80s, and we watch them for 2 days straight, and then we go write a book. Now we're looking back at every title, one at a time, in this podcast that we put out when we're able to. Once we've had an episode for every movie, it's time to meet up for another Shock Marathon. That's right. Welcome. We made a slight edit to the theme song. We put this out not necessarily monthly. Sometimes it takes 8 months to recover from a movie like Coffee Shop, but we are back. The red record light is red, and I'm Matt Farley here with Tom Scalzo.
Hello.
Ava Scalzo.
Hi.
And Charlie Roxburgh.
Greetings.
And it's October, and we're here to talk about, is it The House on Sorority Row or just House? The House. The House on Sorority Row.
I go with whatever the VHS says, and he's got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tom is... Did you guys watch on the original in its
yeah.
intended release? Wow.
It's the way it should be.
It should be. All right, so it starts June 19th, 1961. There's a full moon on a rainy night. A nurse leads a doctor to a pregnant woman in a house. There may still be a chance, the doctor says. She's the last one, he says, before making an incision. After the procedure, the doctor washes his face with water. Did you like that, Charlie?
Such a thing in movies. They're like, we're doing the wash your sins away or cleanse yourself scene. He's like, yeah, of course.
Okay, I figured, yeah. He goes to the woman who asks where the baby is. I'm sorry, Mrs. Slater, he says. She screams no, which echoes through the property. Okay. So,
80s prologue thing that's in so many of these, right? Like a Humongous, like a Prom Night. From an 80s movie with a prologue that's roughly 20 years before.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
and frankly,
one could make quite a non-lucrative practice.
It was like
writing essays.
what's the fall break one? Mutilator.
Like Mutilator.
Yeah.
of all of them, Mutilator's one of the most endurable. Like I can sit through that because it's so crazy. But generally, let's just get to the present day.
It's quick. It's quick here, though, right?
It's quick.
It's
Relative.
pretty quick. It's just, I think a lot of the times these prologues feel like non sequiturs, right? So like you're starting this thing and you're like, okay, because it's not anything that's reflected on the back, like on the back cover copy, right? This is not what you've read about. So you're like, what is this black and white thing? I thought I was going to be in a sorority house. So you're just like, what the, and you know that it'll tie back together, but like sometimes you just wish that they didn't show you that.
I always wish they didn't show me that. And
what about in Valentine?
I don't want to see. I want to see exactly what Ava said. I just want to see what we came for. And most of these movies are not good at recreating a different time period. I mean, case in point, is it Blood Cult that starts in the 1800s? Am I right?
I think it's
the Ripper. Yeah, okay. The same people. Yeah. You know the beginning of the Ripper, and it's supposed to be like 1890, and it's just like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Not a good decision.
Bad decision. Unless you have millions of dollars to create a whole new world, just create the world that you're already in. That's a lot cheaper. All right. So it's present day on campus where a girl is running to the front steps to pose in her cap and gown with the other girls. Montage of girls putting on lipstick, shaving legs, drying hair. One of them opens a closet and a pile of things immediately fall out. Charlie.
It's like movie/cosmetics commercial. I think there's even slow motion hair drying with the silkiness of her hair, and it's fluttering. It's very nice. But I just want to say that the tone is awesome here. Like instantly you had this kind of harsh beginning in the past. Then it's like this sweeping orchestra and lightness, and it switches gears to where we want it to be pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now Katie as a student. She and her mom are packing up. They discuss how Mrs. Slater won't clean the pool because no one uses it. The students, I guess Katie's friend tries to convince her to stay a few more days, and she agrees. The friend adds that she also set her up for a date for Friday night. No need
That's
to...
Vicky, right, guys?
Okay, so that's Vicky who's doing that. So,
Vicky, Vicky, who was the original Ashley on The Bold and the Beautiful. No, Young and the Restless.
Ah,
And
really?
she's also on Days of Our Lives. As soon as I saw her, I was like, oh, that's Eileen Davidson.
yeah.
See?
Cool.
There's a lot of cross pollination between soaps and horrors in the 80s. With the actors. Yes, Charlie.
Is she evil in that role, Ava? Because here she's really good as a kind of
Yeah,
evil.
so on Days of Our Lives, she started out as being a good person, but then eventually she was like, she had like a psychotic break and she was like too different. So she was like raised by the Days of Our Lives villain, and she was like the villainess.
Okay.
So
She's great
she was like
here.
Nice.
playing to her strengths there.
That's good.
Okay.
She can do that well.
All right, so now Mrs. Slater walks into an office. She sees a mom and a child on her way there and feels sad. The doctor tries to convince her not to do what she's planning to do. If you try to stop me from living as I please, I'll see to it that what you did is remembered, she warns him. Oh, no. This is obviously in reference to the prologue.
Yes. What could it be?
Well, I mean, let's be frank here. Yeah. Mrs. Slater, they literally just dumped a lot of powdered baby powder on her hair to get it white.
Make her 20 years older, yeah.
Because her face is still as smooth as it was back in the past.
And the doctor too, like you were saying, Farley, you go to all this trouble for this opening scene, and then you're like, oh no, now the rest of the movie we have to make them up.
Yeah. Oh, what a dumb. Totally not worth it. Okay, so we spoil, and so what happened was she gave birth to a baby. What happened? What happened in the 1961, Tom?
So apparently, I don't know if she was having trouble getting pregnant or something, and this doctor had some sort of unapproved method for trying to help her
have a baby. Okay.
But it had bad side effects, like the baby didn't develop properly.
Okay.
And I think she was the last of his experiments, I think, trying to
salvage the baby,
push his drug or whatever on the women.
And so then, since then, the child has been in some sort of institutional care, except in the summers. Am I wrong? I'm wrong.
Oh, I think you might be right. I think you might be right.
Okay.
I mean, she would have to have the house empty to have him in the attic.
So it seems that
that's a good question, though. Is there any? They don't really say.
So what is he trying to stop her from doing otherwise? If he's there all the time, then what's the difference? So I just assumed it was every summer that he came.
I think you're right, and I think it's subtle the way they handle that. You kind of have to figure it out yourself a little bit or look for hints.
Yeah, there's a level of professionalism in the writing. You know, even how they mention the pool in that opening scene. You know, about the cleaning of the pool. That's going to become a thing.
Yeah.
All right. So
can I ask you a quick question just to get off my? So Mrs. Slater, are her lines dubbed?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And no one else is.
Not that I saw.
She reminds me
sometimes,
of like a character from a foreign movie, like from Beaks or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there was, especially in the scene when she actually threatens the doctor, like that was particularly noticeable. There was some overdubbing there.
Like it's out of an Italian. She's in an Italian horror movie, and everyone else is in this American teen. Because the tone is a little different in the way it's presented and the way it sounds. But anyway, I wish I was watching with you guys because I wanted to ask somebody.
Yeah. No, I definitely saw that too. Yeah, we noticed she wasn't. Not synced up.
Okay, now we're in the woods with Vicky and a guy. They go into some abandoned building. They're there so they can do some shooting. I don't know. For some reason, it didn't ring true to me. That I guess Vicky's dark, but
I think they're trying to show that she's a good shot.
Yeah, but the whole scene is so bizarre because
it's-
like she's like this crack sharpshooter,
Yeah.
and like, but it was like he was showing her how, like this gun for the first time, and I was just like really bizarre, and it just didn't.
Yeah,
Like
it just
I
doesn't
know
feel
it's like,
true.
Oh, you show a gun in the first act, it'll go off in the third act. You know, like that kind of film theory or whatever. But it was just like, it didn't work.
Okay, good. Me too.
But it did work for Cuddle while teaching someone a skill.
Oh, I love
scene.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While
That's
she's
really
aiming,
good. Yeah.
he gives her a little hug.
She didn't like it though.
She didn't like it.
She's
but
no
they
nonsense.
had to do that in terms of movie. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it happen.
So then they transition from the bang of the gun to the sound of the corks popping for a kind of a celebration for a graduation, right?
Best days of our lives.
Yep.
Oh, I
Yeah.
wish. Yeah, that song. We should do that Killer Party sometime soon. That's just.
Yeah.
Have we done Killer Party? We haven't, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, what a movie.
A good segue. We can do that next.
Yeah, the girls are having a grand old time, and then Mrs. Slater arrives in her car and seems alarmed that she can hear people are still there. Back to the girls, Katie announces that she wants to thank them for helping her become what she is today. Wasted!
Yeah. We get to meet your favorite character here.
Oh, yeah,
too.
then it's Morgan. It's her turn to toast, but she can't even get through it. She needs to go vomit. Morgan is just so useless. So wonderfully useless. Oh, it's hilarious.
This is great.
She walks out. Mrs. Slater walks in, asking what they're doing. The house is closed. The girls explain they'll be having a party, so they need to stay a few more days. There'll be no party here, she says. She wants them all out by tomorrow. But the bylaws, it turns out, Charlie, the bylaws say we can stay, one of the girls chimes in.
Love it. I'd love to see that bylaw. Like, if the girls want to stay for a party, like, that's allowed.
Why?
Anyway,
I
gotta say real quick here. I gotta give good props for like the casting and the way most of these girls are, because some movies like this I don't remember each one that well, or they're not cast that well. I kind of feel like, okay, that girl looks and acts consistently throughout it, and it makes for a fun little group.
Yeah, especially Morgan.
They're different enough. Yeah.
You're the biggest Morgan fan I know, probably.
Well, I like her, but I also like Morgan from Slumber Party Massacre 3. You know?
Oh, wow.
And so it's just like a Morgan situation.
Yeah.
All right. Meanwhile, so Mrs. Slater in her room looks up all the photos of herself with the sorority girls over the year, and she tears up. She tears up and burns each one of them.
Yeah.
That's different from tearing up. Does she tear up or tear up? I can't.
Only tearing.
Okay, no tearing.
She's not sad
Unless
about
there's tears of anger.
So now Vicky and her boyfriend return home. She tells him to count to 20 and she'll meet him upstairs. He goes up there to find her waiting for him seductively on the bed, stating, look at what Daddy bought his little girl. Who says that? He does or she does?
Vicky says that to her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And it is not hot.
That's a little weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
And it's regarding the negligee or the waterbed?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Either one is
not clear, and it's not good.
It's just gross.
Yeah, that's the one error they make in this movie, that line.
The one error.
Yeah.
The one and only.
Otherwise,
That's it.
flawless.
I didn't see any others, but you guys can tell me. Well, maybe one other.
Meanwhile, Mrs. Slater sits in the attic with a scary clown toy making sounds and spinning. Vicky and her guy start to disrobe. Mrs. Slater hears the sounds of their passionate moaning. The old lady barges in on their lovemaking and then tears up the waterbed with a fireplace poker. Oh, no, Vicky is not happy. She says she'll get her back if it's the last thing she does. Whoa. So that's
Not a
kind of
fireplace
fun.
poker, though.
Oh, no, what is it?
It's
It's
her
a-
cane.
Yeah.
It's-
It's like an ornamental cane that's like a special thing to her.
Does it have a sharp
Yeah,
edge?
she's got this bird.
Yeah, it has a pointy end. It's very unsafe as a cane.
Okay. Well, yeah, what's she doing? I mean, what is the point? Is that only to be able to carry a weapon anywhere she goes?
I think because in some scenes she's walking just fine, like
Oh,
sprint
she's
walking.
totally sprinting.
Is she carrying the cane?
No.
No.
Okay, we're all 100% sure it's a cane and not a poker?
Yes.
Yes.
It is a cane.
It's a
And there's like the scene where she's with the doctor. She definitely walks off with the cane, and it's like very deliberate.
Yeah.
But then there's a scene when the girls are by the pool, and when she like loses her stuff and she has to like cross a long distance, and she definitely does it without the cane.
Okay, interesting.
I think you'd go straight to jail if you walk around with a fireplace poker like all day, every day.
Well, I'm tempted to test your little theory. All right. We hear the doctor reading into a microphone his prognosis of Mrs. Slater's kid.
Wow. So good.
Okay, I don't know. You know, we see that a lot with tapes. You know, I feel in horror movies there's a lot of like of that, and it's usually I guess it's usually just like a fast way to get through it. Like you only have the actor. Like, all right, just sit here and read your lines. You know.
Yeah. Well, but also at the time we don't know that that's about the son.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't
just
know
think
for
it's-
sure. We suspect. I think. Or I suspect.
No, because we don't know that the son is alive at this point.
Oh yeah, but I mean, why would they show the baby's birth otherwise? I guess. But I guess you're right. In theory, we don't know. We don't know. You're right.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
either.
I don't know
was
how
gonna
I
ask you
felt the
guys.
first time I saw it. So it's too late. Like it's hard for me. Like I just watching it this time, I just knew it was a kid. So I guess, yes, Charlie.
One thing that's funny though about the whole thing is 20 or so years have passed, right? They do that movie thing where you're not supposed to think about all the time in between. You're supposed to think about 1961 and then now. Because if he really were still recording tapes every year for 20 years, he would have like closets full of research and tapes and all this. I mean, just about this one case, which he's probably not even getting paid for anymore, you know, and he's not just covering it up here.
He's
actually
documenting it. Yeah.
Trying to figure stuff out and going more into it. So it's funny. It's like a movie shorthand kind of thing.
So he mentioned. Oh, go Ava.
I was just gonna say, like, at the end of, like, I think I'm still confused by this. Did the doctor know that the kid was alive or not?
I think he knew the kid was alive.
Yes, I think he knew.
So so the kid. Are we in agreement that the kid spends his summers in the attic?
I think so.
Now the question is,
so.
does
I mean, that's the only explanation?
The question is, does he spend the rest of the year in the attic, or does he spend the rest of the year somewhere else? If it's somewhere else, where is it? That's the question, right?
I think those are very good questions.
My money's on somewhere else. And
Okay.
it's an institution he got doctors pulled strings to make happen.
Okay.
They let
That's
him
Because-
out
that's my money.
this
is.
summer.
But then they let him out in the summer, despite the fact that a traumatic episode could bring out his latent violence, which is something
Well,
that we were told.
he says that about her.
He's talking about
No,
her.
he doesn't specify. He just says
Okay.
patient blah 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 Slater.
Oh.
But he
Since
doesn't
the
say,
birth.
this is why you don't
Okay,
you're
so
not
they're-
supposed to know that it's the son. You're supposed to think it's her.
I see.
Oh, right,
They're trying
right,
to
right.
mislead us. I get it.
Yeah.
Because then when what happens next happens, then you think
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
It's quite complicated, almost
Yeah.
too much for its own good, but it's almost enough to still be good.
Or
It's right on that line.
or have we found a shocking second flaw? That's what I want to know.
This one's they'll call this one even.
Okay. All right. Meanwhile, Vicky shows the gun to the girls and says Slater's going to be in for a very big surprise. I mean, Vicky is just diabolical, right?
yeah.
Okay, just checking. All right. So then Slater sees the girls preparing for the party, and she's not happy. She goes out to the pool to find. Okay, I write here that the fireplace poker is floating on a tire in the middle of the pool. It's okay.
Pain. This is when she like bolts and walks super well. Like clearly doesn't need this cane.
Meanwhile, I'm watching it and I'm just thinking, she's a woman who, carries a fireplace poker everywhere she goes. And I never
She's like, whose logs
questioned
need
it.
tending?
Gonna have a fire tonight. Go get it.
And then I assume that the sorority girls are like, let's get her favorite fireplace poker and put it in the pool. That'll show her.
Much better that way.
All right. So the old lady goes to try to get the poker. Vicky takes out the gun and shoots a lamp to prove it's loaded. Then she shoots one of the girls in the ankle. I mean, this is a very complicated stunt. This is a lot of pyrotechnical prowess is on display. Maybe not pyrotechnical, but technical.
Yeah.
Slater goes into the pool like Vicky told her to. Then she shoots multiple times. And we discover, this was just a big prank, and the girls start laughing. I mean, there's... a potential flaw here is that it's like, come on. Are they really able to pull this off and have the fake blood and everything else, Charlie?
It's a bit of a stretch. So I guess they actually had to have a real bullet that blew out. Like the first one was real, and that exploded the lamp.
No, no. I think that they somehow lined something up with like a
firework or something.
Yeah. Ava, what do you say? Which one?
I mean, I don't know. This like the logistics of this prank setup, like because a blank wouldn't break the
Blank wouldn't do anything.
No.
So I assume there's someone off in the background holding like a little button, and then there's like a line, electricity line running up to the lamp, and then when you turn it on, it's designed to explode. I mean,
I didn't give that much credit to these girls in their thought process.
I know, but I mean, it's even more crazy to imagine that they've planned it like, all right, the first bullet is live, and then we'll act, I mean, that's pretty outrageous.
I'd buy that.
Tom?
Hey, when I was just flipping back through the book, and I said they were blanks in the book, so I don't know why I thought that back then, but I thought they were not blanks now.
just
well,
for
the
the light.
Hits her ankle's a blank. She just has like ketchup on her hand, and she smears, obviously.
Yeah, no, because when she later gets up,
she actually shoot her?
No, I don't think so.
No, absolutely not.
It's a heart attack. Yeah.
So the question, the only question is, how did the light explode? It's never explained. But Vicky is all powerful.
I think whoever did this movie didn't know that a blank wouldn't actually do damage, right? Like I assume that it's a failure of the production rather than like a necessary fail. Like whoever
it's not Vicky's fault.
It's not necessarily Vicky's fault because I don't think that they would have thought this through. I think whoever put together this scene didn't actually think through the logistics of well, if the light explodes with this bullet, it has to be a live bullet, and if this happens, this has to be a blank. Like no one thought of that.
Well, somebody did on the set, and the director said, "Hey, it's fine. Don't worry about it. No one cares. Let's get
daylight's burning." Yeah. I think you're right, Ava.
Okay, then Slater comes out of the pool and hits Vicky on the shoulder with not the poker, as my notes say, but her
a vicious hit.
Vicious hit.
Yeah.
Vicky shakes that off.
Okay. Now it says, now I write here, Vicky then actually shoots her with a question mark. Slater falls into the pool, and they start performing CPR. But she's already shot her fake.
Backwards.
It's that whole sequence happens really quickly. So, and it's very confusing. So I always assumed that there were these blanks, and then there was somehow a live bullet somewhere.
It's like every other one.
Like that shot the lady, but it doesn't make sense. I recognize that doesn't make sense, but it's the only I thought she ended up actually getting shot at some point. Even though you don't actually see a bullet.
There's blood later too.
There is blood?
Yeah.
Is there?
Is
there enough blood to so it just makes no sense. I mean, Vicky has loaded every third a bullet, and every third shot there's a bullet, and I mean
that's what it seems like because I mean, I think when they first shoot her, when she falls back into the water, those are the blanks. Like she's just pushed back because the force of the blanks hitting her.
But the blanks have no. Well, maybe in this world, blanks have power.
Wind, like the wind from them.
Yeah. Well, let's just go with that. That's the only thing that
It is confusing.
I don't actually know what a blank is. So I know nothing about guns. So like,
Right.
I don't know what a
likewise.
blank does or doesn't do.
Yeah, I'm with
clearly
you. I don't know
It
anything
just
about
goes
it.
boom, I
doesn't know
assume.
guns either.
All right. They try to perform CPR, and then they have the moment of deciding whether to get an ambulance or not. And it's Vicky, I guess, who kind of convinces the rest of them that it's too late at this. It's too late to alert the authorities. There's nothing we can do. We're all complicit. Now we have to just. It happens in every movie, you know. Where you make this decision, and
It's like I know what you did last summer.
Yeah. Deliverance too, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess so.
Am I wrong? Whether to report the situation.
Yeah, or just try to go on. Yeah.
All right. And now the band arrives, which is one of my favorite bands of all time. What are they called again? 4 out of 5 Doctors.
Well, before we just move on to the band, I just have to say that this decision-making process for what to do with this body is like the quickest. Like there's it happens. Everything happens so quickly in this scene. And like even when they decide to wrap her up, and it's like the most ham-fisted way to like wrap her up in this tarp, and like they sort of half-assedly tie this knot, and they're like, oh, we're gonna sink her, but then they don't put any like rocks.
And she said, "Get some towels."
Get towels. That's what you do.
I was like, get rocks. Who gets towels? Get some freaking rocks.
Where are the washcloths?
All right, so the band arrives. Oh. Morgan is sent out to stall the band. That's great. That's a total Morgan responsibility.
That's in her wheelhouse.
They're like, all right, someone's got to stall the band. Morgan, go! All right, Katie says she's calling an ambulance. So Katie's the main girl, right?
Yeah.
She's the one with a bit of a conscience.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah,
Tom?
and she's got the look, too. Don't you think? In the way
Girl next door,
Yeah, in the way that Vicky looks ruthless, Katie looks kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Vicky says it'll be over for all of them if that happens. The other girls agree, like I said, and they throw her in the pool. The towels that Ava mentioned, boom. And then we get to hear the band play a little bit. I'm sorry I don't have any audio clips this time, but if I did, we would be rocking out to this band, which I loved. Tom, how good is this band?
They're fantastic.
But can I ask why they're British?
No,
I mean we don't know where are they
sorority
anyway.
budgets, you know? They just fly in people.
They fly
that's
them
who
in.
they get.
Yeah, they were on tour. They were playing a club nearby, and then they got a sorority gig. You know, it happens.
There's definitely some Canadian vibes to this movie, though, even though I think it was not Canadian, but stuff like that, it feels like this is what a Canadian movie would have had.
All right.
Yeah.
Now we get some snippets from the party. In one conversation, some guys discuss how a friend of theirs failed a test. One of them is upset about it, not because he liked the guy, but because he copied all the answers. Oh!
Wah. It's like ne plus ultra college talk for like 30 seconds here, and shots of just all this little fun party stuff and people that we've never seen before.
Yeah, really, really, really questionable decisions right there. Just like bad comedy, Wow.
It's a little bad comedy, yeah.
Meanwhile, outside, someone seems to be taking the body out of the pool. A drunken partier bumps into the guy and gets the poker through the... sorry, I keep calling it the poker. The cane through the neck. The partier thought his buddy Bobby was with them, but apparently he lost him in the journey. So there's the first killing, I guess, right, Charlie?
Yep.
That's sort of a slasher movie moment. It's definitely like, let's just have a kill here, because that guy and he actually says at one point, maybe Skazos can back me up here. I want to show you my favorite tree.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Something
a
like
great
that, right?
line. Out of
Something like
nowhere.
that,
yeah.
yeah.
and we
Introducing
don't know
new
who he
characters.
is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just somebody to get a death in right there.
They're like, as they're about to shoot, the actors are like, shouldn't we say something? Like we were just having, yeah, tell them you want to show them a tree. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Now a guy named Peter comes up to meet Katie. This is the one that Vicky has set them up on the date. She seems a bit preoccupied, what with the murder of the house mother.
Yep.
He offers to go, but she warms up to him and accepts some flowers. So, I mean, you can only mourn the murder for so long, right? Right, Charlie?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a cool shot. Do you want to say something, Tom?
This is the worst blind date ever.
Yeah.
Let's just be clear. Like,
Yeah. Poor Peter.
it's just like he tries so hard and she is just not into it at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it's understandable that, he doesn't know why. But
Right.
we
No,
know. Yeah.
absolutely.
We'll give her a break. All right. I like the cool shot of the girls in the crowd. The camera kind of pans to each one of them with their concerned faces during the
That's pretty
party. Isn't that cool?
So good.
Yeah, that's a good little moment. And then boom, there's a scream outside, and the girls are like, "Oh God," like they're all like, "Oh God," this, you can feel their guilt. It's actually quite well done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the scream is
This is actually part of the movie that I really enjoyed was when they're like suddenly realizing like that their cover up is going to fall apart, like so easily fall apart, and they're trying to like make up for those pieces like one at a time, and then like obviously as the movie goes on they each start disappearing so that there's less threads there's like more threads that are
Yeah.
like cut, so they're trying to tie it all together and it's not working for them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like that's the part of the movie the bulk of the movie that I actually enjoyed.
It's pretty well done.
I like these scenarios, and I do feel their nervousness and their guilt when I'm watching it, So
Yeah.
it's in a lot of movies, a lot of movies, but the reason why is because it's a good scenario,
It plays well against the fun of the party. You got
Right.
everybody else is just having a great time. They're so lucky to just be enjoying a party, and these girls are just sweating their situation. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so they hear the scream. Did I already say that? And it's two guys trying to throw one girl into the pool. But the main girls stop the guys and then tell them there's a wet T-shirt contest inside, which immediately distracts them. Which is
Quick
great.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't last long though.
But one of those guys pushes another girl in the last minute before leaving, and the girls fish her out, and then note that the pool has some lights. They should do something to make sure no one turns them on.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like Ava kind of said, it's clear that they're in way over their heads in this situation, and things are just crumbling super fast around them. Like the lights, for instance. So one of the girls goes downstairs. I don't know which one it is. Do any of you? It doesn't
It's
matter.
the one who's Stevie, the one who's gonna work for Pan Am.
Okay. Steve.
Yeah. Surprised it was Morgan. She usually
That's
gets
a
the
total
big-
Morgan duty. You're absolutely right. So
Morgan, go do something.
she goes down there. Someone's watching her from a closet. After some dramatic, scary moments, she's stabbed with the cane. But I think it was all in silhouettes. Did I get
It
that
was
right?
the cane. I actually like this death scene quite a bit because it's actually pretty gruesome because she ends up being kind of stabbed through the eye, but because it's done in this silhouette, like you're allowed to imagine the gruesomeness instead of being like it being shoved in your face, which
Heck yeah.
sometimes I enjoy.
I always prefer that. Any day of the week. That's fine. I don't want to have to watch the gore. All right. The band invites the girls to the center of the dance floor. Someone wonders where Stevie is. Meanwhile, three guys in their underwear prepare to jump in the pool. Just
Why?
one.
Oh,
Yeah,
bro.
it's like one catastrophe after another. These girls like, oh, of course, the night that we put a dead body in the pool, everyone's trying to jump in there. Not to mention the pool, besides the dead body, the pool is disgusting, right? Haven't we already established that?
It's so gross. Like, no one would want to go in that pool.
Unless they were doing it on a dare, or they were trying to impress a girl. What girl in the world would be impressed by that? I don't know, but it's a little bit silly. But who knows? Weird stuff can happen at a college party, maybe.
One of them kicks the other one in and says, "I'm a sea pig," and then the one who goes in says, "I'm a sea pig." Then the lights come on in the pool. The girls go to check it out. There's no body, just the sea pig. And he tells us again, "I'm a sea pig, Charlie."
It reminds me of that part in Jaws where he goes, "He made me do it.
Yeah.
He made me do it."
Yeah, it's a nice little capper.
Right before the cut.
Yeah, I like that. All right, the girls hold a meeting in the kitchen. "She's alive," Katie says. They argue. And I noticed some dubbing near the end of this scene too. Do you recall, Charlie?
No, not
All
specifically.
Right. Anyway, Tom, did you?
No. I didn't notice
I
that.
didn't. Yeah.
All right. Well, take
I don't know that happened, though.
take my word.
I
for
might
it.
have, Farley. Maybe a little bit in the back of my mind.
As the guy who thought the cane was a poker, you got to take my word for this. All right. All right. So now Diane and another girl are out looking. Maybe maybe if there were fewer girls. I can't keep track of all these characters.
I admit that this was a problem for me too.
Yeah.
I could not keep their names straight.
Oh no!
Like,
not
I
even
knew
close.
Vicky and Katie, and then all the other girls are basically like other girls.
Yeah, except for Morgan, of course. For me, at least. All right, so Diane and another girl are out looking for the body. Morgan is wandering through the upstairs of the house looking for the body, I guess. No sign of the party still happening at this point. That was some inconsistencies. Like, the band is rocking out, and then just like one level up, it's dead silence. Where they're
Yeah.
and it just feels like no one's in the house. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
Charlie?
Yeah, it's true.
All right. Morgan starts singing while emptying a closet. It's the fight song of the sorority, I guess. Tom, yeah?
I think so.
Bittersweet here.
Bittersweet.
Bittersweet moment.
What's the sweet part? The song is the sweet part and the death is the bitter part?
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Yeah.
more. She's a simple soul.
She is a simple soul, and it's so sad. Someone comes from the attic entrance down at her.
I like the cut of this death scene also.
They're good at ending scenes, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with a cool
Yeah,
little
very good.
memorable moment and then a quick cut, you know?
Yeah, interesting camera angles and positions.
Rushing
and
at
stuff.
her. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you don't know what it is. I don't know how that happens exactly in retrospect. The body there coming down. It would, if you go back and try to figure it all out, you'd have to think that the
sun was up there and through.
was like, let me push my dead mother.
that I can't.
down
Well, there's a
on
lot of
Morgan.
that. If the sun is down by the pool, and then how's he back in the attic and back down in the basement? Like, there's a lot of moving around with no one
That's
seeing
true.
it.
That's true. Fire escape. I see.
So
Maybe.
yeah, so we have a little cut. So there's that scary moment, like, ooh, what happened? And then we cut down to the party where our favorite band, 4 out of 5 Doctors, is singing Modern Man. Oh yeah, here it is. Oh yeah.
Nice.
So good. Everyone's dancing. It's like this stiff, like head bobbing.
So good.
Oh, that is catchy stuff. I love that song.
Right.
Wow. All right, so we get back. Morgan, oh, thank God she's not dead. It was just a body that fell on her from the attic, that like Charlie discussed. The girls revive her with a cup of water. She wakes up and asks for something stronger. Oh, Morgan, always a booze hound, you know?
Could we say she has a plunging neckline? Is that the correct term?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, thank
All right,
you.
it's
It is
official.
rather
It's rather plunging.
On the plunging side.
Plunging.
They think Slater somehow inched her way up to the attic by herself. That's their theory. Because why would they assume that she had an adult son that she kept up there every summer? You know. Vicky gets very bossy with the girls, bad-mouthing Morgan for running away, and then Katie slaps her. So there's some good drama there. How are you liking that drama, Charlie?
Yeah, it's good. It always makes me think of Airplane when somebody like slaps somebody.
Get a hold of you. No. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself. Doctor, you're wanted on the phone. Okay, Morgan takes a sip of hard liquor straight from the bottle. It hits the spot. She takes her dress off, changing into a nightshirt. Okay, so the woman that she and her friends just killed fell out of the attic, even though they left her dead in the pool. And she's just like, "All right, give me a shot of whiskey, and it's time for my my pajamas." And the party is raging downstairs, right? Just making
right.
Yeah.
Okay, but you can't hear it. You can't. There's no.
You cannot hear it.
You can't hear
Best
this.
sound clipping ever.
Here it comes. 2, 3, 4. All right. There's a pre-chorus there. Sorry. Anyway, okay, then she sips some more liquor. No sign of the party going on right below her. Morgan finds a Jack-in-the-Box on the deck outside of her bedroom. She's delighted by it.
So Morgan.
He is. He's so happy.
No sign of the body that just fell on her. She's just stupidly staring at the delightful toy. And then she's stabbed through a curtain. Wow, Tom. What a shame, huh?
She is something else. She's marvelous, though. You know, you need that kind of character. She's not like the girl next door hero, and she's not like the mean one.
Yeah.
She's just like a pawn, you know.
Oh yeah, it's really good. Yeah. Have you like Morgan now, Ava? Do you find her more memorable just since we talked about her?
I mean, she was among the more memorable of the girls that were there. There's the one with the long face that I don't know her name at all, and Stevie was kind of forgettable. And the one who goes with Vicky to is that Diane?
Liz.
Diane.
Liz. She, the one who has the new van and doesn't want to transport the body with it.
Oh yeah.
With her new van, yeah, that's Liz. She kind of reminds me of the Exorcist actress Linda Blair.
Yeah.
So
Remind him.
it's quite reasonable to. I don't want to harp on this too much, but just like the silence of the scenes upstairs versus they cut back down and the band. Okay, I don't know why this isn't like the biggest band of all time. These guys are amazing. 4 out of 5 doctors. Modern Man only has 3,000 streams on Spotify.
Really?
That's pathetic. That's a problem with the world. The world needs to catch up to these.
Well, that's going to happen when this podcast comes out in a couple of days.
Close line.
We're doing our part.
We are. All right, they're still rocking. Katie finds the Jack-in-the-Box, but not Morgan. The girls carry Slater's body. They decide to put her in a dumpster. Katie explores the attic. She discovers clues that Slater kept her son up there. And then her blind date appears. This poor guy.
Yeah.
He's followed her all the way up to the attic, which is, it's like, all right, dude, let's back off a little bit, right, Ava?
Yeah, this scene is just like, he's so clueless in it. And like, this is the thing about this blind date, is like, he really keeps trying, and she is so preoccupied with like and I'm not blaming her. She's got a lot going on, But like it's just one of those things where like I don't actually understand why they decided to shoehorn this plot into the movie because he doesn't even get like, does he have a death scene? Because I think he just goes home. Like I don't remember a death scene for him.
We'll see. I don't remember.
You remember that there's the tranquilizer bit.
Yeah, but even
like
that,
as a mistaken case of identity. But yeah, you're right pretty much. I guess she's the main girl. They wanted to
give her something,
round her out a little bit, but
some little love interest thing. But it's just kind of like she's shoehorned in this plot, and it's like I think one of the things that this movie suffers from is this like ping-ponging tone issue.
Yeah.
So it's like the consistency. There's this college party frat thing going on, and then this intense like psychological like whodunit, like where are the girls? Why is everyone disappearing? And so it like ping pongs between these things, and it's just like you start to settle in on one side of it, and then you're immediately thrust into like this other scenes. It feels like there's these two movies spliced together.
Yeah, one thing that a lot of these movies would dwell on the fun for a while before the trouble happens, whereas this movie is weaving them throughout, and there's pros and cons to that. But as a proponent of just fun in horror movies, I'm so happy when they're not even afraid of anything yet, because then they can just have fun, and then let the scary part happen in the final 20 minutes or something. But yeah, and I got to stop dwelling on it. But it's so disturbingly quiet in the scenes upstairs. It really took me out of the movie that they couldn't just have Modern Man quietly in the background of those scenes, because the house does not look that big. Anyway, Katie and her boyfriend, or her date, are up in the attic, like we said, and she tells him 3 different times to go downstairs before he finally does. But first,
he's riding around on that little toy,
toy plow thing, right?
Oh yeah, that is not what Katie wants to be dealing with at this moment.
She is so over it.
He bumps his head on a bird cage, and there's a dead bird in it, so that's something to be aware of.
Why?
Why? Well, because the weirdo son like kills birds or something, or he had a pet bird that he killed. I don't know.
Yeah, but what's he got against? I mean, that was something that seemed really weird. It's why that would be like his friend, up in the attic.
It was. I mean, there's like something with bird imagery, right? Because on the woman's cane, like on the edge of her cane, it's a bird, and that's like what she uses as like when she actually slashes the waterbed early on, like that's what she uses to slash the waterbed, is the end of the bird's tail on her cane. So like I don't like, there's this recurring theme with birds, but I wish I understood what they were going for, because it's not clear.
Yeah, and maybe not enough. Like we need 3 things more than, instead of 2.
They didn't know either.
I agree.
Yeah. Or they had it in like a 2.5-hour cut of the movie, like it made sense. Sorry, we're gonna have to cut all this bird stuff. Then like, just a few scenes still have it accidentally. One of the girls gets into the van, which I think they'll be using to transport the body. The radio comes on as she turns it on, blaring wonderfully generic music. The killer comes from the sunroof and kills her. So, yes.
Quick part I liked. I thought it was kind of a nice touch when that one girl was like, "We're not using my van. I just got it." Like that felt real. That felt like something that would happen, like especially around graduation time. And there's all this stuff going on about they just killed somebody, but you'd still think, "Hey, that's my new car." I thought that was cool. And they could have easily not put that line in, but that they did added a little bit more to her character. And she already mentioned like, when they're drinking this champagne, she's like, "My mama said I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth." So that girl like gets stuff, I guess. She's spoiled, but she also is like, "I don't want to use my van for moving the body."
Yeah, it's a nice little touch, like come let me show you my favorite tree. Is that the line, right?
Well, they're both good, but
they're both good touches. One is actually a little bit more professionally done.
Yeah.
All right. The girls push the dumpster into a police car.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe
a flaw here. verify here for believability factor. I know they're looking down while they push something heavy, but
Come on. Yeah, come
that
on.
is a
yeah.
slow motion or a low speed crash if there ever were
Yeah,
one.
and it somehow causes damage. It is so low speed. It's like, come on. Like, it tapped the car. The officer has to go deal with the situation, so they're off the hook. Now, there was a third girl pushing the dumpster who ran away when they hit the police car. Now she's being chased by the bad guy. Katie finds her. Her name is Jeannie, I think. Anyone? Charlie?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
She's borderline catatonic. Is catatonic the right word, Tom?
Yep.
Katie leaves this poor girl alone in the kitchen while she goes off for help. The party is slowing down. Now it's just some stragglers. One of them is playing the piano. Ava.
Did we discuss the scene where Katie goes through? She's like, I feel like that was after the attic scene. Is that when she goes down into the party and she's calling people's names? But it's the strobe light.
I don't know. I might be.
It might be
up on
right
it.
around this part.
Well,
Because do you remember the scene I'm talking about, Matt? Like,
I haven't seen the movie in 8 months. So.
I remember the strobe light.
I just thought it was like a very interesting choice because it actually looks pretty cool on the screen.
Yeah.
But it's also like incredibly like when you're watching it, your eyeballs are like, because it's like you're also in the strobe light, like you're seeing the strobe light effects as if you were part of the party.
Two
Like,
effects.
It's like something out of Manhunter
Yeah.
or Pokemon or something like that. One of the two. Yeah, but it was good. It was good.
Jeannie, she's the catatonic one in the kitchen, right? Jeannie?
Yes.
Grabs
Yes.
a knife as the killer breaks a window to get in. Then she runs away into a bathroom where she vomits into a toilet. I'm sure I've said this before. I don't think there should ever be vomit in any film. Like, I have never enjoyed watching any character throw up, ever. And it happens a lot in movies. I don't understand it. Who wants to watch this? Ava, who?
My issue with the scene is more the fact that she's being chased. I don't know what actually causes the nausea. I think it was that she's injured, and for that reason she decides to like start throwing up. But that she has the like wherewithal to like go find the bathroom, open like there's stalled bathrooms. So then she's like opening the stall and getting to and I was like, just like clearly they didn't have like fake vomit, right? Because otherwise she would have just done it earlier in the scene. But because she instead like just sticks her whole head in the toilet, which by the way, no one ever actually throws up that way.
Yeah.
But they do in movies all the time because that way you just make the retching noise and you don't actually have to worry about displaying.
Showing
Yeah.
They just wanted to get her to a stall so you could do the classic killers on the other side of the door of the stall, which is in more than 50% of horror movies back then.
Yeah. It's just like it's just one
But
of
you're
those
right.
things, like it's just cheap. Like it's not interesting. Like they could have framed this much more interestingly than they did.
Yeah,
They just
I didn't
kinda-
know why she was sick. It's amazing to think at a party a girl's sick because she got hit in the head. Because she does
Yeah.
get hit with the cane, but
Yeah, I kind of assumed that the reason she threw up was because she had been hit on the head.
I don't know.
Like, yeah, and not that she was excessively drinking, which would have been a more logical thought process.
That's right. Are you going to talk about the steam, Farley?
Yeah, well, she's in there. Well, you tell it, Charlie.
It's kind of like just for effect, almost like how Ava was saying. It's kind of cheesy. He decides I guess he decides let's really scare her by having it be foggy while I kill her.
Yeah.
So he's turning on all the hot water.
There's no reason. Absolutely no reason.
Inside of the stall door is dripping with condensation.
Yeah.
And then he kind of kills her with the cane to the neck as a choking kind of thing, but
Well,
in steam.
No need
well,
for
he
steam.
decapitates her, doesn't he?
I guess so, yeah. With the by poking it real hard.
Does the
Taking the knife
steam
from her?
Oh, she
the
did have a
knife.
knife. Yeah.
does the steam make it easier to get the cane into her? You know, does it
I don't know. This cane is incredibly sharp because it's pierced a number of body parts at this point,
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
and it's clean, which is what's also amazing. You don't see lots of blood and gore on it.
Now Peter is asking Katie what's going on. Poor Peter. Katie calls the police, but she can't bring herself to say anything, so she hangs up. She tells Peter to leave. He's dejected. She says sorry. Peter's pathetic, right, Tom?
Well, at one point, yeah, I thought he was just gonna give up, and he keeps coming back for more. And then eventually, we just find him out in his car, just like feeling sorry for himself. So, like he's too I don't know, he's too dependent on her feedback for his happiness. Like he doesn't even know her. Like,
I know.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like
me.
Yeah, he's desperate. The desperation is ridiculous. Vicky and the other girl get to the van. Diane isn't there. Vicky whines about how she's always the one saving everyone's behind.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, except like it's all her fault that anyone is in this mess. Let's be honest, right? Like she's the one who insisted on throwing this party that she's not even enjoying. She's the one who insisted on this prank that killed the house mother.
Yeah.
Like it's
She
all
pulled the
Vicky's
trigger.
fault.
Yeah.
Yep.
Katie finds a medical alert tag and dials the number. The number gets her the doctor from the beginning of the movie. He's on the way. So what? She just happens upon like Mrs. Slater's contact to the doctor. Apparently, that's convenient.
Yeah, and earlier in the movie, they'd established this medical tag by saying, "I made this new tag for you."
Okay. The girls in the van conveniently find a spot in the cemetery where there's already a hole where they can just dig a little deeper and leave Mrs. Slater there. So that's nice.
So much work.
No, even though when Vicky's standing in it, it's like chest high. It's supposed to be
Extra deep.
They've dug deeper than normal, so it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they're not very good grave diggers either, it seems. Doctor comes in. We get a shot of a drunken dude in a car in the foreground as the doctor comes in. I always thought that was going to lead somewhere or mean something, but it's just random, right? Oh, that's Peter? Oh, he's not just some drunken dude. So that's Peter being sad.
Pretty much.
Man, I got a lot wrong on this movie. I'm sorry. Sorry about this too. It's funny that you can watch an entire movie and then like one of the characters who's in it a lot and you don't even know who he is. You know, is that my fault or is that the fault of the filmmakers?
I feel like it's partly the filmmaker's fault because like he's in it a lot, but like that particular scene is so bizarre. Like that he just kind of goes outside and sulks in his car, and at the very least, like you would expect that to end up with a like death scene, but it doesn't.
Okay, good.
Right.
Thank you. So I didn't know it was Peter, but I was accurate in thinking it was weird, and yeah, okay. Yeah. So Katie and the doctor go upstairs to the attic. Katie asks why Mrs. Slater had the medical bracelet. The doctor explains the situation. What is the situation that he explains, Charlie? Tell us.
Well, I was getting a little bit of Loomis vibes here. I don't know if you guys were from this doctor. I mean, obviously not as good as Pleasance, but they were probably influenced by it. And like a doctor, the way he is yelling on the phone at the police and like explaining the situation, it's very didactic. It's sometimes the way that Loomis does when he describes Michael's evil. Yeah. So I was getting that a little bit, but to get back to your question, yeah, the situation, they're up in the attic. He's, I guess, revealing a little bit about the experimental drugs to Katie and the trauma, and you know, he keeps pressing her for more details, saying, "You're not telling me everything."
And she's avoiding the where Mrs. Slater is.
Yeah, she's avoiding the whole prank and that maybe Mrs. Slater's dead to this point. But Katie is learning, and the audience, you know, we're learning a little info. Although we already kind of knew. We already basically knew that he did weird experiments.
They go to the pool and find several dead bodies in it. The doctor calls the police. He suggests they go to the cemetery where Katie has told him the girls will be. The girl who's not Vicky, is what I wrote in my note, but Liz, I later figured out, gets her neck slashed in the van while Vicky is finishing digging the hole. Vicky finds her dead in the car, and then Vicky is killed. Okay, I mean, this guy gets around, huh? Slater's son is everywhere.
Yeah, because they drove a little ways to the
Yeah.
graveyard.
Did he hitch a ride?
Yeah, but in that time that they were gone, he kills
The girl in the bathroom, right?
the girl in the bathroom. So like he couldn't.
Oh yeah.
Logistically, there are some major plot holes in this movie. Unless it's like unless you go back to the like two killer thing, but this is going for a Michael Myers vibe more than anything else.
Yet another moment. They're in the cemetery, in the middle of the night filming. Hey, director, how did my character get here? Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
just film it. Let's go.
It almost reminds me of Psycho a little bit. I mean, on purpose, they might have been going for that, but the way that they light it, because you do see a little bit of the attacker. You see like some frizzy hair and it's backlit or something.
Yeah.
So you can't, and the cuts are quick. So you're kind of, what? Who is that? What are they teasing me? Are they playing it coy? Kind of. You can't really make out the killer.
On the way to the cemetery, Katie confesses everything to the good doctor. It's kind of excruciating to hear her speak through all her sobs, but she gets through it. They get to the van at the cemetery. No one's there, but then she finds Vicky and Liz dead. The doctor finds the body of Mrs. Slater in the back of the van. The doctor tells Katie to get back in the car because it's clear that the son is still alive. Meanwhile, back at the sorority, she asks, okay, so now they go back to the sorority. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She says, where are the police?
Right.
Okay, they're not coming because the doctor was tricking her. He didn't really call the police. And then he sedates her with a syringe.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a question about this.
Let's hear it.
Why does he do this? Like, I don't understand his thought process here. Like this entire scene that follows, with her being kind of loopy, it just didn't make any sense to me. And it's like, allegedly he's using her as bait to lure the killer, except that I don't even understand why he thinks this is going to work.
Yeah, you could just say, "You want to help me?"
Yeah.
I sedate her. I like that. Because it's like,
That's what I mean.
I know, right? No, but then he has her sitting in this chair, and she's like looking at this room, and then she keeps having these visions, these strange visions with like
awful.
Mrs. Slater
Oh.
and Vicky, and like I was like, I was telling Tom, I was like, it reminds me like a little bit of Spellbound, where they have that whole Salvador Dali-esque montage, because it's all, that movie is all about Freud and stuff.
Which is another mistake. Yeah.
But it's like one of those things where I'm like, why is it being so weird? Like arty, again, this is like my issue with the movie's tone, right? This is like this very arty, surreal moment.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the end should be kind of, wrapping up.
Suddenly we're on the just complete tangent, and it's not fun to watch any of her hallucinations. I am so checked out at this point, just like, oh God, this is awful. And yeah, like you guys just said, like, I think she'd probably go along with it. I guess the doctor's no nonsense. He's like, look, she might protest, so I'm gonna sedate her real quick, let her be some bait. Everything's gonna be fine. Charlie.
The filmmakers just wanted that moment in the car, where they're like, all of a sudden you're getting a shot, and you're, you know what I mean? Like that's a thing that happens in movies.
But don't show the hallucinations though.
Yeah. I gotcha.
So, like Ava said, we see she's seeing people dancing. She's seeing Mrs. Slater, the sorority girls.
The cane spinning on its
cane,
own.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Then who walks in? Good old Peter.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey,
come back in.
Please like me, Katie. And boom, he gets shot in the shoulder.
With a tranquilizer.
Dart.
Not with a gun.
Good.
Yeah.
He gets an actual sedated in the shoulder. And again, so then he doesn't appear again, does he?
I don't know.
I don't think he appears again. And so like what?
He's taking out all the people that could help him.
It's not even like it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know his long-term plan. Is he gonna frame the Mrs. Slater for all the murders, or we'll worry about that later. Katie struggles to get up while the doctor is tending to Peter. She goes upstairs with the doctor chasing her. He tries to tell her that the only way to get Eric is to trap him. The boy, Peter, is only tranquilized. He explains, "I'd be ruined if anybody knew what I did," he says. And then the doctor opens a door, and boom, there's Eric. Eric is the kid of Mrs. Slater, and he kills the good doctor. So now Katie listens from her room with a gun in her hand. She leaves the room and finds Eric standing over the doctor's body. She tries to shoot, but no bullets. She runs to hide in the bathroom, but chooses the stall with a dead girl stuffed in the toilet. So she goes to the attic. She seems to have an idea. She puts the jack-in-the-box by the entrance of the attic. She starts having more hallucinations. All the girls appear to her, telling her they're waiting for her. Then Eric is there dressed like the Jack-in-the-Box. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah.
he did.
He did a wardrobe change for this, right, Tom?
Pretty amazing, yeah.
I mean, or I don't know if she's
Is that just her perception? Right, yeah.
her perception because she's sedated, so she's hallucinating.
It's open for
This
debate.
too?
I like
Possibly.
to think that he went through the trouble of putting on the new outfit. Charlie.
Before she's sedated, there's a scene where they show it up in the attic, remember?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Remember?
right, yes.
And you
yes,
think that
yes.
you like to touch the face almost. What made me laugh about it a little bit is like Mrs. Slater was like, you know what my son needs when he lives here in the summer? He needs a full-size Jack-in-the-Box suit to dress up in when he so desires.
She gets out of the way as he tries to stab her. She shoots multiple times, seeming to miss, but then throws the gun at him weakly. She stabs him with a doll that's lost its head over and over. He falls out of the attic. Is he dead? No. He opens his eyes, and then boom, closing credits. So Charlie.
She stabs him with a doll that's lost its head.
Yes.
Is that a thing? It has to be a thing if you're going to do it, and it sure ain't a thing. She's like, here's a doll. Let me take the head off and see if there's a knife inside. And there's a little knife. And
Well,
then she just stabs him.
Like, how did these were like flesh wounds, right? Like, this is in no way going to kill this guy.
Yeah.
Correct. And
Yeah.
he's been good at fighting the whole movie. He suddenly can't. And the knife isn't that big. But the real question is, how does she think to look for a knife there? Why is it there?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
our dolls, I don't know. I don't deal with many dolls. Are they known for having very sharp,
No.
Okay.
We have two daughters.
Okay,
When-
yeah.
In the 60s, though.
Back in the
Yeah.
60s.
I think it's a trick
Yeah.
doll. It's a trick doll. It's an actual weapon doll, I think.
It's a weapon doll.
And she
Yeah.
just
I mean,
lucked
'cause
out.
most normal dolls do not have. If like you manage to decapitate them, half the time you're just getting stuffing, right? And if
Yep.
the other ones, like the plastic ones, it's literally just plastic. Like, yeah, you might get yourself like a little cut because plastic can be sharp, but you're not gonna.
This is wood. This is an old-fashioned real,
Yeah, no.
real
The
toy.
good old days,
What?
Charlie.
Wait, it's like a wooden knife. That's still not gonna like.
Oh, the inside was metal.
Oh, yeah, no.
I
It's
think
the whole
Mrs.
thing.
I think Mrs. Slater was like, I've got a normal household thing that's secretly evil and can kill people with my cane.
Right,
Son,
that's her thing.
would
Yeah.
you like a normal
Yeah.
household looking thing
Yeah.
that secretly has a killing abilities hidden within?
That's explained in the 2.5-hour edit also, probably, you know? So that's House on Sorority Row, which is a pretty entertaining feature film. Let's get some reviews. Let's start with Tom Scalza.
I enjoyed it. I mean, it was very professional. It was a lot. I didn't remember the beginning, like the opening part at all, like the flashback part,
Yeah.
or any of that backstory with the doctor or anything. And but I thought it moved well. Like the characters are fun. Like it's not as lighthearted and goofy as some of the ones we like more and are more memorable. There's not a lot of great lines really, but it's comfortable to watch. Like I like the colors, like the light is good. It's enjoyable overall. I didn't have any problems with it
Yeah.
really.
It's potentially like that like what you mentioned, the fun. It's like things get serious fast, where the girls have to deal with this situation. And a lot of them, especially obviously Vicky, just come off as unlikable, in the way that they're dealing with the situation. So there is a lack of fun. But thankfully, there's always Peter to mope around. Ava, what's your review?
So not my favorite, but not the worst that we've seen, right? And I mean, I do agree that it's more professional than some of the others that I have watched with you guys. And I guess my biggest issue with it really comes down to that like tonal issue, which I wish that it had been like, I don't mind shifting tone, but I think that the shifts were too abrupt, and that in some ways the story isn't fully tied together in a certain way. And like, I find that the sort of like, I like the idea of that like Michael Myers moment where the killer like opens his eyes again. Oh, he's not dead. Like, oh, this could continue. But I feel like it would have been nicer to have a little bit more of a relief from like, because she literally just knocked him over and then kind of passes out from the sedative.
And then the movie's over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he opens his eyes and then the movie's over. And it's like, it would have been, I think, more interesting to have it be like, okay, her and Peter walk out of this house and then like, so that there's like that little bit of break where you think like, oh, okay, so they solved it. And then have like pan to him, eyes open. Like, I think that would have been a much more dramatic ending.
Extend the tension a little bit. Yeah. Give people a false sense of security.
Yeah.
Charlie, your review?
Yeah, the ending is both too long and too abrupt at the same time, which is bad. But it's not quite so fun as we want. I feel like there's some things in here that they've just seen in other movies and they think, oh yeah, we're going to do that, but they don't do their own spin on it. And, maybe they thought they could make some money by making a horror movie versus like someone who is a diehard horror fan or writer who really crafted something. They kind of thought, okay, here's what you have. You have the thing from the past. You've got an evil doctor. You've got killings that are happening all over the place with a unique weapon. And they just kind of filled in the blanks versus a real inspired piece. But I still like it. And I especially feel like Tom said it's comfortable. Like when it's on, the shots are nice and smooth. It's a little bit not as many close-ups as modern movies have, which I like. The score is awesome. And the 4 out of 5 doctors is great. I think it's well cast. It's a little bit trauma happens a little too early and is a little bit too much. I agree with that, especially what you were saying, Farley. So sometimes you mean like, I don't want to watch these girls fight all the time. It's a little more fun when there's some more hijinks. But all in all, it belongs in the conversation of early 80s slasher horrors to say, like, if you were saying, oh, I'm going to watch 30 horror movies this October or something, one of them could be this one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I agree.
Yeah, one and like even before the trouble starts happening, we're kind of introduced. We're introduced to Vicky by her shooting a gun already. It's like, so even before bad stuff has started happening, like in the time where hijinks could be happening, the hijinks has the stakes are kind of high, and it just feels like kind of dark and unpleasant that she's out there with her boyfriend shooting guns. That's not like a fun run around the woods kind of situation. So But yeah, all those things that you guys said, the hallucination's real bad. Like, it just, oh god, out of left field. Like, and please stop. But
the lead actress does good though.
Yeah,
I mean, I know she had to work with some of those things where they're like, okay, you're hallucinating, you're breaking down to the doctor. It could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah.
She was also a soap opera star. She was on As the World Turns.
I'm telling you, the soaps.
Cool.
A lot of
those soap opera actors, they can run lines.
Yeah.
This is a live version of Modern Man. just the hooks and the melody in that song are spectacular. This is from a live show in 2008. So I mean they
Wow.
they had a heck of a yeah. I mean as recently as 10 years ago they were still at it. So maybe we can get them on the show for an interview. So yeah, that was good. Any shock memories? I know we watched it, but I don't remember any other details of that experience. It was from Shock December. Yeah.
I was looking through the book, and I don't think we were awake for all of it. 'Cause, like, Farley, you just say the stuff about Morgan for like one paragraph, and then you sum up the whole rest of the movie in another paragraph.
That's about it. Right. Yeah, Morgan's 50% worthy.
You say like near the end of the film, you might start wondering exactly why the first scene depicted a childbirth on a rainy night in the early 60s. Well, you'll find out before it's over.
I'm not known for being good at writing that book or any of those
What
books.
do you say, Tom?
Then Charlie says, he talks about Morgan for a while, too. And then you say...
Oh, but he mentions Diabolique.
Yes, you mentioned Diabolique, which is good. That's good.
I almost rewatched that for today. I thought about it.
That's a good one. And after talking about Morgan for a while, then you say, from this point on, any number of interesting things could have happened. As I was resting my eyes during these parts, I am not quite sure what they are.
Oh, well, it was...
At least you're honest.
Yeah, it was ripe for rediscovery. And by that, I mean discovery, watching it these many years later.
And then they throw the hallucination scenes. That's all we need when we're tired anyway, you know?
Right, exactly. That's not going to keep you up. But then at mine it says, after a long unnecessary hallucination scene, which I was awake for that part.
Call, Tom. You were on point.
But then I say the cops arrive and the son is apprehended.
Is there another alternate cut? I don't think there is.
That's funny. Okay, so what was the doctor's plan? The doctor's like, if they ever find out I did this, I'm ruined. So I'm going to sedate you. I'm going to sedate your boyfriend. I'm going to lure the kid. And then I'm going to sedate him, bring him back to the loony bin. At this point, I'm just guessing.
Sedation.
What?
Continual sedation. For decades.
There's like no plan. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and so then at that point, I mean, he's still got a bunch of bodies that, is he just going to wash his hands of them and be like, I don't know what you're talking about. This Katie girl, never seen her in my life. I guess that's what he's going for, and then...
Get more towels. We'll sink them. More towels.
Listen, Tom, in your original review, though, you do say things that you learned from this movie. Blanks in a gun can break glass. You do question how the lamp breaks.
I'm telling you, it's a pyrotechnic situation where they have wires and whatnot hooked up.
Still don't know the truth.
And if you have a son that's a freak and you lock him in the attic for the majority of his life, he'll still avenge your death. That is a very true lesson from this film.
What a loyal kid. Yeah. All right. Should we listen just a little more Modern Man, you think?
Yeah, that's my favorite.
This is the studio version.
Cliche.
Okay, look, lyrically, it's not breaking any ground, but I mean, this has like 7 songs worth of amazing melodic moments, all crammed into 3 minutes and 38 seconds of pure, sweet pop bliss. Tom?
That's pretty good. I like it.
Ooh, I never listened that far. That was the bad part. Yeah. They lost it, man. They tried one section too many.
Oh wow! They did an album called Second Opinion. by 4 out of 5 doctors.
Oh, that's a great title. I love it.
With a two-headed doctor illustrated on the cover.
That's hilarious.
Oh my
they're the
gosh,
best.
that's disturbing.
That's. I hope all their albums are like Doctor puns. You know. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's real funny.
Yeah.
You know, Golf on Wednesdays. You know, is one of their landmark albums. All right. I guess that's it for Ava and Tom and Charlie. This is Farley saying maybe next month and maybe in 8 months, but we will be back.